Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel once again. As always, I'm Robert Storms. I don't even know why I say that all the time. As always, I am Robert Storms. Like who else would I be at this point? One day I'm just trying to get on here and as always, I'm Billy Storms. I don't even know why I say Billy. Bob is technically the nickname of Robert, but whatever. I digress. Going to be talking about, that's right, Joker. It's in the description. Now, I'm letting everybody know this is going to be very, very heavily into spoilers and the Joker movie. Now, with that said, we're strictly talking about the Joker tonight, guys. We're not talking about anything else. I won't talk spoilers. I'll tell you what, I won't talk spoilers. The only time I'll talk spoilers if someone asks spoiler questions. And then I will go ahead and I will talk. We'll get into spoiler talk at that point. But until then, I will keep it really vague. I won't talk spoilers at all. Yeah. So with that also said, if you do use super chats tonight, make sure it's about the Joker. Don't do super chats and go, have you heard Robert Downey Jr. is not being pushed for an Oscar? Because I'm not gonna talk about Avengers tonight. This is Joker's time. Okay, Joker deserves our time. I see KECMI 1936. Dude, that's a weird username, but hey, run with it. How was it really? I said this. I'll tell you this. I seen it last night, and I'm still thinking about it. Thought about it all day. Thought about the movie all day. Thought about it all night after I seen it. I'm just gonna say it. I don't care. Maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, I might think differently, but I'm gonna say it now. I think the movie's a masterpiece. I do. I really do. I think it's a masterpiece. I think the movie's about so much. My friend Colin wrote me today. I'm gonna read what Colin wrote me. He's a friend of mine who used to do Web of Cinema with us, and he said, I have very conflicting feelings about the Joker. I wrote, really? Such as? And he said, I really like Phoenix's performance. He did a great job portraying this version of the Joker. But the movie wanted to say so much that it ended up saying nothing. Instead of committing to a single theme, it tried to keep a bunch on its plate, spinning it in the air. And I wrote, wow, really? I felt the opposite. I thought it really touched on how mental illness isn't taken seriously, and how the world is just awful, and the people in high positions look down upon people at the bottom that need help. It's a whole thing. I'm gonna get into it. The whole thing. He never replied after that, but and I seen headlines all day today. People going, "This movie's dangerous." Oh, I got 3 minutes into Collider's spoiler review, and I had to shut off because Roka went full SJW, man. Full SJW, full political, everything. Roka cannot do anything unless it's SJW related, man. So I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm tired of that channel anyway. I'm leaving that channel once Harloff is gone anyway. I'm not going to watch that channel anymore. But, yeah, this movie's a masterpiece. I think it's a masterpiece. Not because it's a movie about a comic book or whatnot. I gotta be honest with you, that plays a huge part in it. But what the movie represents, there's so many things going on in this movie, but it's a film about a guy who suffers from mental illness. He suffers from mental illness. People don't try to help him. People treat him like shit. They beat his ass. They rob him. They steal from him. They make fun of him. They do stuff to get him in trouble. His mom is manipulative. The people he works for treats him like shit. And this is a guy who has a mental problem. He's on this medication. And the people that can do stuff, people in Thomas Wayne's position that can do stuff, cut the funding for his psychiatrist and his meds. And at a certain point, a person can only take so much. And this is very important in today's society. Very important in today's society. How many times in today's society, for the past few years, that we've seen people commit suicide that's being bullied? You know, it happens all the time. I did an entire short film on that using real news headlines, news clips of people that are constantly being criticized. Either oh, you're too fat, or oh, you're too ugly, or oh, you're white, oh, you're black, oh, you're Hispanic, you're too short, you're too tall, you're dumb. You have these things where everybody criticizes. Hell, go watch my AEW live discussion and just look at the amount of comments that I got people criticizing me, calling me names, calling me fat, calling me all. I haven't done a damn thing to any of these people. Yet, and now with social media, it's taken to that and it's amplified to a million. Because anybody can get on here and just, start criticizing people. And when you suffer from a mental illness and people are constantly bullying you, beating you up, treating you like shit, how much does a person take until they can't take anymore? This is a guy who I believe that Arthur Fleck was a good man. Like, he was a good guy. He suffered from mental illness, and people beat this guy so much that one day enough was enough. And then you combine that with the fact that he lost his medication, he didn't have a psychiatrist no more because the people in power took it all away, and he finds out that certain things everything kind of folded. And I just felt like this movie was really important in, I think, today's society where, it's so easy for people in power to be like, oh, there was a mass shooting in Texas. Guess what? That's because of video games. The fuck? Video games. Okay, it's video games' fault that people went into a Walmart in Texas and shot up a bunch of people. It's video games. You ever thought maybe this person has a mental problem that no one successfully diagnosed, that people just overlooked? People maybe made fun of this person or treated this person like crap until they can't take it anymore? Look, I'm not making excuses for the guy, but we don't know the whole story, right? He could be just a downright racist person who doesn't like people that committed an awful crime. But to sit there and blame other things instead of blaming what was really the problem, I think Todd Phillips knocked this movie out of the park, man. I was a big fan of War Dogs. I liked War Dogs a lot, and I thought this movie really knocked it out of the park. I don't talk much at work no more. I try to stay to myself. I don't want to talk to anybody at work. But a couple of my managers, my overnight management team, are really into comic book films and stuff, and they knew I went to go see it, and they asked me, like, what did you think? I'm like, man, it's amazing. I'm like, this movie's amazing. I'm like, and then one guy asked me, he's like, well, does it tie into the rest of the DC stuff, like Wonder Woman? I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with that. That's why it's amazing. It has nothing to do with the DCEU or being in the next Batman movie. It has nothing to do with that. I'm like, this is like The Departed or The Godfather or Casino or or Taxi Driver. It's these little indie movies, although Godfather's not really an indie movie, but you know what I mean. It's like this own little standalone thing that has a message to say. It just happens that the tragic villain, in the movie, he just happened to be a comic book villain, You could easily just take the title Joker out, take the name Thomas Wayne out, and this easily could have been an artsy film about someone else. Excuse me. I'm going to be nibbling on a cookie every now and then. I'm a little hungry. But, yeah. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw some in. I can start talking about questions. But I absolutely love the movie. I've been thinking about it ever since I got out of the movie last night. I desperately want to go back and see it again. And I did beg people, do not bring your children, man. Do not bring your children. This is not a movie for children. You think Logan's better? That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I don't know what the theme of Logan was, other than facing your own mortality. You know, I like my movies that actually have messages in them. You're entitled to like Logan. Logan, action, blood, snick. Okay, fine. I want a character piece. Logan wasn't a character piece. Other than the fact Logan was a guy who's facing his mortality. Okay, whatever. More power to you. What would I rate it 1 to 10? I put it in my video. I put it in my video. This movie didn't have that much violence, to be honest with you. I don't know what movie you saw, man. Did you watch my review? Because in my review, I gave it a 1 out of 10 score. So I gave it a 1 out of 10 score. This person definitely doesn't understand the movie. What's his name? Yasis? Whatever the fuck his name is. Obviously doesn't understand the concept of the movie. Sonia Evans writes, what's your favorite part? Mine was when there was an ending. Spoiler, the Waynes and the Joker was truly born. It was very powerful. Yes, it really was. The scene on top of the car was pretty strong. Pretty strong. Both symbolizing it was a great moment. And it felt like it took from the indie film. There's a Joker indie film that The Rise of the Joker. I forgot the name of the indie film. But I feel like it took inspiration from that. I really did. Robert Brown writes, did he kill Sophia character played by Zazie Beetz? I believe that's up for interpretation. I believe that scene, and this is why this is an artsy film. There's so much in this film that you get to choose what you think happened. That's why I like indie films so much. I really do. I like indie films and Oscar bait films because these movies just don't spell shit out to you like an Avengers Endgame. And don't get me wrong, I love Avengers Endgame. Don't get me wrong. What's my new DCEU ranking? What difference does it make? This is not a DCEU movie. That's how I know this guy don't know what the hell he's talking about. I love Avengers. I love, the MCU. But, those movies, they spell everything out to you. It's not artsy. This is an artsy film. This is an Oscar film. They don't spell everything out to you. So, did Zazie Beetz die at the end? Did he kill Zazie Beetz? That's up to interpretation. If you want to know my interpretation of it, absolutely, I think he did. He was there, and we see him back at his house, and then we see the ambulance, like the sirens and ambulance passing by his window. That's up for your interpretation. Did he kill her? Did he not? I think it was definitely up for interpretation, but I lean toward yes, he did. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm taking care of something here. Oh, what other questions we got? Andrew coming in. Spoiler, did you like the part when he gave the little speech and then killed Robert? I thought it was great. I'm going to be honest, man. That movie went a completely different way than I thought that movie was going to be. Because through the movie, we kind of seen him do this knock joke, right? Knock, right? And I thought he was going to go on there. He was going to do the joke. He was going to do knock, and he was going to and shoot himself, right? I thought he was going to kill himself. He was going to give the speech, knock, bah. And at that point, I thought he was going to become a martyr for the real Joker. Like people would see him as a symbol. And someone would pick up that mantle, and it would be the Joker that we know from the comic books. They didn't go that route. To be honest with you, I could have taken either one. I really like what they did. It was definitely this is gonna sound awful. Definitely a cheering moment because they everybody treated him so badly, guys. Everybody treated him so badly. You know what I mean? What's up, Rob? Back from seeing Joker. OMG. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, dude. I've been thinking about it all day. Man. Brian, should they do Bane movie next about how Bane became the person he is? I'm not even going to answer that question. Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. When he shot De Niro, everyone gasped in my theater. Pretty much my theater, too. Like, I went like this, but I didn't say anything. Adam was like, yeah! I'm like, all right, let's promote violence, Adam. Good job, son. Yeah, it was a shocking moment. And the reason why that moment was shocking was because we thought he was going to, because that's what he kept doing through the whole thing. Just like he practiced it over and over. So we thought when it happened, that was what he was going to do. And then when he turned around and just pop, I was like, oh my God. Like, oh my God, man. It was crazy. But yeah. Man, I can't put into words about that movie. Did you think he was intimidating? Who? Joaquin Phoenix Joker? I don't think Joker was ever supposed to be intimidating. Julio Rodriguez comes in. Is the Joker connected to the new Batman movie? Hell fuck no. And good. This is an art film, man. People got. I honestly, and I'm not insulting you, Julio, at all. You're just asking a question. But I've been seeing this all day from people. People at work ask me this. Is this connected? And I keep saying it's an art film. It's an art film. I don't think people understand what that is. I'm like, it's an art film. People don't understand what an art film is. Okay? This is a social commentary on the world about mental illness. This has nothing to do with Batman. Okay, it ain't about some guy who puts on fucking bat ears and flies around going, I'm Batman. It ain't about that. It's more important than that. There's a reason for this movie. It just happens to be a comic book villain. But, I mean, it's insane. It's like, do we really need this to be connected? No, this is a standalone movie. Let us have our standalone movie. I don't want a sequel. I don't want, spin-offs or be connected to Batman or anything. I don't want it to be. It's not shot that way. You watch it, you can tell this is being filmed like a art film. This is something like a Quentin Tarantino would do. Or, Martin Scorsese, who, just criticized Avengers, but, it's an art film. Who said the Joker's going to be in the next Batman movie? Broly? Who said Joker's going to be in the next Batman movie? Just saying. I got to be honest with you, man. I'm seeing questions. I wasn't expecting to find questions like this. Hold on. I almost. Whoa. Sean Dabney. I'm just going to call you Sean. What's up, Sean? Thank you for the big super chat, man. I appreciate it. Yo, Robert. Do you believe he was really adopted, or was that all orchestrated by Thomas Wayne? So this was something me and this was something that me and Adam talked about after our review. So this movie, I think, like I said a few minutes ago, I think this movie, it doesn't hold your hand. Like I said, this is a true art film. So much is up for interpretation. Did he kill Zazie Beetz? Did he not kill Zazie Beetz? Was his mother insane? Was he adopted? Was he really Thomas Wayne bastard child? So much is up for interpretation in this movie. Now, I was talking to Adam about it, and I was like, "Hey, Adam, just out of curiosity, I want to get your, I like to see what other people get from movies. That's why I watch reviews after I watch a movie, and to see what other people think. Do they think the same way I think? Not everybody thinks the same way." And I said, "Hey, Adam, do you think he was actually adopted?" He's like, "Yeah, we saw the paperwork." I'm like, "Yeah, I know we saw the paperwork. I saw her signature, but don't you remember earlier in the film they said that Thomas Wayne forced Arthur's mom to sign paperwork?" I was like, "How do we know he just didn't like blackmail her or force her to sign paperwork just so he can get off clean?" He's like, "Well, that's not how I read it." I'm like, "Yeah, but you can kind of see it's up for interpretation. Like one hand, his mom was psycho, and she adopted him, and he was abused by her boyfriend or whatnot. Or on the other hand, she was telling the truth. Thomas Wayne was the real father, and to cover the whole conspiracy, he signed papers proving that he wasn't his son, and she got so obsessed with trying to say, yes, you are. Yeah. She kind of went psycho. So I believe it's up for interpretation. I believe it is. Just like what happened with Zazie Beetz. Did she live? Did he kill her? It's up to interpretation. The end of the whole film is up for interpretation, too. Did he kill that doctor at the end? Did he not kill the doctor at the end? So much of this movie is up for interpretation. That's why it's an art film, guys. They don't hold your hands. They don't hold your hands in these movies. And I seen a lot of people, kind of just, "Oh, this movie's so boring." Like, this movie's anything but boring. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get what people say is boring. But to answer your question, Sean, I don't know which side I believe. I definitely see both sides. I think for now, until I see it again, I'm going to go see this thing again. For now, I'm going to lean on the side of he was adopted. When I go see it again, I'm going to pay more attention to it. Because when they were doing flashback scenes of his mom, she didn't look crazy. She looked like she was abused. She didn't look crazy. The younger version of his mom. So I'm going to go see it again and make up my mind the second time. But as of right now, I'm going to go with the fact that he was adopted until I see it a second time. Well, we got a couple super chats coming in. Let me get to those. First one coming from Omar. Thank you, Omar, for your super chat, man. I appreciate it, buddy. Him locking the top lock on the door was great. Bro, that whole scene was great, man. That whole scene was great. I was sitting there, the way we were seated, it was me, Adam's friend Louie, and Adam on the far right. So there was a guy between me and Adam, right? And when they came in, he locked the door. And as soon as he locked the door, the first thing that came to my mind was, "Oh my God, how's that midget going to get out?" And then he goes ahead and kills the guy that gave him the gun. And then he tells the midget he can go, right? And I looked over at Louis. I'm like, dude, how the fuck is he going to reach that lock? And they played into that. Dude, it was intense, funny, and scary all at the same time. I mean, it was a great scene, Omar. A great scene. I'm so glad that Arthur was like, you were always nice to me. You can go. I'm not gonna hurt you. It was so good. Like I said, and that's how you know it's a good film, when you can have like 4 different emotions going on at the same time. That's how you know you got a good film, man. And it was a great scene. It was a great scene, Omar. Thank you so much for your super chat, my friend. Space Goes Coast to Coast comes in with a super chat, and he writes, "My favorite moment is when he stood on top of the car." I think that's your money shot. That's your money shot. That's your big shot, man. That is. And I believe that took a lot of inspiration from the fan film. It was like, there's a fan film on YouTube. I suggest like everybody go watch it. It's a very independent fan film, but it's really well done. I can't remember if it's the Joker Rises or something. I forgot the. Let me see if I can find it real quick. but it's really good. I believe it sort of gets like Rise of Joker fan film. It's called Joker Rising. It's a fan film. Um, and I believe it took inspiration from that. And at the end of the movie, Harley Quinn dies, and then basically he just rises up, and it kind of has like a similar moment. And I thought it was a great moment, a great moment, man. And when he did that with the blood, I was like, oh, dude, it's so awesome, man, so awesome. And I don't know how many of you guys caught it. I even talked about it. I don't know if me and Am talked about it or not, or I mentioned it after our review, but when he gets arrested at the end and he's sitting there with his head up against the window of the police car and the sirens are going and stuff, it very much played tribute, in my opinion, to Heath Ledger's Joker when Heath Ledger got arrested in The Dark Knight. It was almost shot the same thing. And yeah, so it was just, oh my God. It was a lot of stuff to really like about that movie, man. A lot of stuff to really like about that movie. So thank you, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it so much. Aaron Jacob, your other friend didn't like this movie, did he, Rob? Well, he's not a friend of mine. I mean, I guess he's a buddy. You know, we're not close. I only met the guy twice. That was the last night was the second time. But he went in he went in negative. He went in not wanting to go see the movie. The only reason why he saw the movie was because we were going to Halloween Horror Nights right after. He was coming to Halloween Horror Nights with us. So Adam purchased him a ticket so he can go see the movie with us because I was driving everybody. But we went in. He didn't want to see the movie. He was criticizing the movie before we even seen it in the car. And then after the movie, he's like, I don't understand the point of it. He's like, so the Joker has mental illness and he just kills people and he gets abused, so now he becomes a Joker. I'm like, yeah. How'd you think his origin story was going to be? You know? So, yeah, he went in automatically going to hate the movie. RLI, I hope that's RLI other than RL lowercase l, but I'm going to say RLI comes in with a super chat. Never thought I'd feel sorry for Arthur, but somehow this movie managed it. I think Todd Phillips did a masterful job explaining the Joker. I agree with you 150%. You know, a lot. I was watching Christian Harloff's review on it, and he was like, you feel sorry for the Joker up to a certain point, but when he crosses the line, you can no longer feel sorry for him. And I disagree. Like I said, this Archie film, everybody has their own interpretation of what they feel. And in Christian Harloff's, opinion, he didn't feel sorry for Arthur. I felt sorry for Arthur the entire movie. The entire movie. I can't tell you how many times people get bullied and stuff, and you can only take so much, man. When I was in elementary school in 5th grade, I just moved to a new town, and I went to this new school for 1 year. It was just 5th grade, then 6th grade was middle school. And in 5th grade, dude, I got bullied every single day. I never got bullied in school. Only in that 1 year. 5th grade was the only year I ever got bullied in school. I was a new kid in school. There was this group of kids. They kept beating me up every day, stealing my stuff, just treating me like crap every single day. There was a second floor stairway, and they tried to throw me over the rails a couple times. And I went to teachers. Teachers said they handled it. They didn't handle anything. My mom talked to teachers. That didn't do anything. So, yeah. So I know how it feels to be bullied. It's a bad thing. And when you take someone and they got mental problems, right? And you can tell there's mental problems. Look, I'm not trying to be mean, but there's a lot of people on YouTube that has mental problems. They're either autistic or they have some kind of mental problems. And how do they kind of live with that? Let's be honest. They live with that by bashing other people on YouTube. Like you go and you look at For instance, look, I'm just going to say this. I'm not trying to be mean. Look at Thor Thunder God in the comments. There's no such thing as mental illness. This guy clearly probably has a mental problem. Okay? Just go back and read some of the comments he wrote. You know, just read some of the comments that he has written. He 3 times he asked me how much were ticket prices in all caps. You know, just go back and look at some of this stuff. No such thing, dude. Just so there's a lot of people on YouTube that has mental problems, and people who get abused tend to act out that way. And it's sad. It really is sad. And people shouldn't be like that. I have a lot of people that are subscribers that message me on Facebook and stuff, and you can tell they're autistic or something. And I try to, I remember being bullied in 5th grade, and nobody should be bullied for being different, But somehow I felt for Arthur's character all through it, RL, all through it. When he did what he did on the train, I was like, yeah, good. He should. They're fucking douchebags. There's fucking douchebags all over the goddamn planet that keeps treating people like shit, and they need to get what's coming to them. Did he take it a little far when he was in the talk show? Probably. But you know what? In real life, you know what would happen? He would have shot himself. Because that happens all the time. Look it up, man. Look it up about these people who commit suicide daily because they are being bullied. So, RL, man, dude, I feel you, man. I feel sorry for him through the entire movie. That's one thing I was conflicted about, man. Like I feel sorry for him, but what he's doing is not right. But you kind of see where he's coming from, and then you get people like Collider is sitting there going, "Oh, this movie's dangerous, man. It's gonna send the wrong message." I'm Roka, man. We can get out of here, man. But thank you so much, RL, for your super chat. I agree with you, man. Todd Phillips did a masterful job, man. I really did. I think this is the best Joker origin we ever had. And I felt a little bit of Killing Joke in there. And I thought it was great. I really did. So thank you, RL. Damn right Murray roasted his ass on live TV. He's like, knock, knock. And Murray's like, you had to look that up, huh? It was like, damn. But see, that's like, how can you not like how could you feel bad for Murray's character when he sat there and was roasting his ass on live TV, right? Live TV, man, live TV. Holly, you gotta see it, man. You gotta see it. I'm not even bullshitting when I'm saying this. This movie's a masterpiece, man. It's a masterpiece. It really is, man. It's a masterpiece. I think the movie was set in the 70s. I can't remember if it was set in the 80s or 70s, but it was definitely a period piece. What's up, Wells? Fatty Rice, what do you think about Robert De Niro in this film? I was actually surprised at how good he was in this film. I was actually really surprised at Robert De Niro in this film. Like, Robert De Niro's kind of been phoning it in lately, but he came in, and he didn't have that long. I think maybe if you had all of his screen time, he probably was in the movie for about 10 minutes total. But he was good, man. He was good as hell. Right. Like the one YouTuber, the one YouTuber, who said, I just got distracted, man. Give me a second. The one YouTuber. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Now I remember what I was gonna say. The one YouTuber that said Murray roasted his ass on live TV, Mr. J, right? He roasted his ass on live TV. That's how good he was. Like he had like very limited screen time, but he went out there, dude. He roasted the shit out of his ass, man. He roasted the shit out of his ass. It was hilarious. They better not do a sequel to this movie. They better not do a sequel to this movie, man. See, dude, this is what I'm talking about, dude. Thor Thunder God's still talking about some weird shit. I don't even know, dude. Thor Thunder God, you're put in timeout, son. There is no sequel. Todd Phillips said definitely no. Well, that's not true because they can technically do a sequel without Todd Phillips. He doesn't own the characters. He just directed the first movie. If they wanted to do a sequel, they could do a sequel. If they want to put in the next Batman movie, technically they could put in the next Batman movie. Crazy. They could do that. They don't need Joaquin Phoenix or Todd Phillips. They can technically do it if they wanted to. No, we do not need Lex Luthor. Okay, this was what I was afraid of, man. I was afraid of this movie doing real well, and then we're gonna start getting like all these kind of spin-off movies, man. That's what I was afraid of. That was my biggest thing I was afraid of with Venom. Like, if Venom is going to be successful, we're going to get all these other stupid movies, you know? And, could like another one of these movies work? Sure. Joker's a special case, man. I don't want to see a Mr. Freeze movie or a Riddler movie, or I don't want to see any of that, man. I don't. Joker's different, man. I just don't. Oh, I totally forgot to mention this in my review. Why do I feel like I got like something there, man? Oh, I totally forgot about mentioning this in review. But yesterday when we got to the theater at Universal Studios, the guy who was ripping tickets, well, I believe it was a lady ripping the tickets, but standing behind her was a tall gentleman in a suit, and I assume he was the manager or something. And he was like, "Hey, I know you from YouTube. I watch all your videos." And I shook his hand, and then like Adam was like, "Oh, that's awesome." So yeah, that was pretty cool, man. It was like, going because he offered me a Joker poster. I'm like, I can't take it, man. I kind of gotta go Halloween Horror Nights afterward. He's like, "I know you from YouTube." So, I mean, that's kind of cool every now and then. As long as they recognize me when I'm outside work. When they meet me at work, that just is very embarrassing. Julio Rodriguez comes in with another super chat. "Can't wait to watch the movie tomorrow night after Venom. I didn't think solo villains movies can work." They can if you got the right creative team, man. Todd Phillips is a good director. I've been saying Todd Phillips was a good director for a while, man. But yeah, I just don't want to, I just don't want them to go overboard with this, man. I don't want to see a plethora of spinoff movies. I don't want to see a Bane standalone movie like someone said earlier in the live stream. I don't want to see a Bane standalone movie. I don't want to see, I probably would go for a Zod movie. But it would be like really sci-fi, though. It wouldn't be like artsy film, Like what could you do for an artsy film? Like, what other character could be an artsy film? Maybe a Penguin, maybe a Riddler, Catwoman done right maybe might work, But you're not going to get that artsy feeling like you did with this movie. You know what I mean? This is a special movie. This was a passion project. This really was. This was a passion project. I don't think we're going to get that again. If this is a spoiler discussion, I might keep my lips shut since there seems to be people who haven't seen it, but people are still spoiling it anyway. So at this point, we're going to do a Killer Croc arts movie about how it's like to grow up in the Everglades. Well, the record just sucks. Omar comes in with another super chat. Hold on. Let me get the cookie in my mouth. So, Omar says, all the media needs to be talking about what you're saying about mental illness. Instead, they're talking about inspiring violence after the media. I don't understand this. I don't. This movie comes out, right? And all you hear, oh, this movie's dangerous. It's going to promote violence. People are going to get the wrong idea, start shooting up studios and shit. Yet, we can have 5 different Purge movies where people are slaughtering people in their homes, but that's okay. We can have a movie like Strangers with home invasion where we're killing people. That's okay. We can have Michael Myers slaughtering people on Halloween, but that's okay. We can have a movie like Hostel where people pay people to torture and kill people that they want. That's okay. But God forbid we have a movie about someone who suffers from mental illness, who gets bullied, and then manages to take his revenge and becomes insane and becomes this murderer. We went way too far. No. We can talk about Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and The Purge and Strangers and Hostel. All of that stuff is great. Hell, anything Eli Roth does is great. But no, once we start talking about mental illness and how it can turn someone insane, we went too far as a society. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. That's why I don't get about this fucking media shit, man. They don't want to fucking address the real problems. They want to fucking blame comic books and video games. Fuck you. You get what I'm saying, though, people? Do you get what I'm saying, though? You know what I mean? You gotta look at that and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Holly wrote, maybe this country needs to take a better care of their mental illness or mentally ill. They wouldn't have to worry about it. LOL, this isn't anything new being said. Very true. Very true. And I thought that's what Todd Phillips was saying in this movie. The whole point of this movie was you need to pay more attention to the people that are around you that are suffering. Okay? You know, it's so easy for someone, I'm trying to say how I can say this without, bothering anybody. Julio Rodriguez comes in with a super chat. All it takes is one bad day. Exactly, man. Exactly. I don't know how many people out there has a family member who is ill, a family member that passes away. That pain can do stuff to you. You could be a perfectly good person, and something bad and tragic happens, and if you can't deal with that, you could do bad things, so it's sad. That's why they tell you, look and see if you can see some mood changes in a person. Look for signs of whatnot. And this whole movie was about a guy who was being bullied, being beaten, being robbed. He suffered from mental illness. He's trying to play with this little kid. This isn't a spoiler. This is in the trailer. He's trying to play with this little kid on the bus, and the mom turns around like, leave my fucking kid alone. Treats him like fucking shit. He was doing something good. He wasn't harassing the kid, But you want to sit there and criticize this man. Nothing this son of a bitch did, people gave him shit for every fucking thing. Until one day he's like, fuck it. Clack, clack, pop, 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 pop. Is it justified? No. But for the love of God, this dude was suffering from mental illness. Nobody cared. People that have the power to do things took away the system, took away his doctor, took away his medication, found out most of his life was a lie. Come on, man. And it plays very important into society about these people having mental illness. But we have a president who's like, oh, it's about the video games. And then what happens? Oh, and then fucking Walmart stops selling video games, but they fucking sell fucking 12-gauge shotguns, but they ain't fucking, oh my God. That's what I'm talking about. People want to put a Band-Aid on the real problems. and they don't want to fucking look at the real problems. They want to put a Band-Aid on it and like, oh, it's those video games over there. Oh, it's the movies, but they don't want to look at the real problems. Pisses me off, man. Pisses me off. One second, guys. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. M2 Freak. Actually, it's M20. Mr. 24 Freak. Sorry, sir. I apologize. There are much more violent movies out there. More violent. It's easy to point the finger at this movie. You know why? Because it hits a nerve. They know what's going on in this movie happens every single day. And they know that they know it's a problem. And instead of trying to fix it, they want to they put their Band-Aid on it, man. He got to get that Oscar. After seeing the Joker now, I will tell you this. You guys heard me say this all the time. I love Heath Ledger's Joker. Thanks, D. I appreciate the super chat, my friend. I say this all the time, but I'm going to say this right now. And you guys hear me say it all the time. I love Heath Ledger's Joker. But I've always said he only won that Oscar because he passed away. Don't confuse my words. Did not say he didn't deserve it. I just said he wouldn't have won it if it wasn't for the fact he passed away. If somehow Joaquin Phoenix doesn't get nominated or doesn't win, then it actually proves that Heath Ledger only won because he died. It proves it. Because I'm going to do a video later on this week, Heath Ledger versus Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I'm going to go into it. But I think Joaquin Phoenix is on a whole other level. A whole other level of Joker. He's on a whole other level that it kind of makes Heath Ledger's Joker look cartoonish. Again, no disrespect. Don't take it as disrespect. Heath Ledger's Joker was fantastic, man. But Joaquin Phoenix is so realistic, so real, so raw that it makes Heath Ledger's Joker look like a cartoon character, man. It does. I mean, he's doing magic tricks with pencils and shit. Meanwhile, fucking Heath Ledger's Joker is just like, or a Joaquin Phoenix Joker just capping bitches, It's insane, man. Omar, we got 2 super chats here. One coming from Holden. He should have been taken away from Penny as a kid. Well, that's up into interpretation, like we said. Was Penny really mentally sick? Did she really adopt him? Or was she telling the truth the entire time and Thomas Wayne just covered it up by having her sign papers? I mean, how many times have you heard things happen in the real world where, people are being blackmailed and they cover stuff up by having people sign stuff? So it's up to your interpretation. Was Penny really sick? Was she imagining this? Or was, in fact, Thomas Wayne just covering it all up? Because like I said, you can see it either way. Adam believes she was really sick. I lean to, I think maybe Thomas Wayne was covering it up, but I have to see the movie a second time. But during the flashback scenes, Penny didn't look crazy. She looked like someone who was scared, who's gotten beaten. So, yeah, it's up for interpretation for sure. Omar comes in with a super chat. Ledger and Phoenix are incomparable to each other. Not really. I seen where Campia said that earlier today. You can't compare the two. They're 2 completely different characters. I can compare the 2. Yes, I will take you to see it, okay? Jesus. Campia said you can't compare the 2 because they're 2 completely different characters. I say, yes, you can. Yes, you can compare the 2. You know why? Because they're both the Joker. If we can sit there and say, if we can sit there and compare, if we can sit there and compare Jared Leto to Heath Ledger, those are two completely different characters right there. Those are two completely different characters. Yet we still compared Jared Leto to Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger's Joker was completely different than Jack Nicholson's Joker. Yet we still compared those two. So if we can compare those, then we sure as fuck can compare Heath Ledger to Joaquin Phoenix. You know why they said we can't compare? Because it's a cop-out. They don't want to have to sit there and go, well, I don't know, man. You know, because they know if they say they think Heath Ledger's better, everybody's going to be like, oh, you're crazy, Joaquin's better. But if you said Joaquin's better, they're like, oh, you're crazy, Heath Ledger's still the best. So in order to not box themselves into a corner, they're like, oh, you can't compare them. They're two completely different characters. The fuck? What do you mean you can't compare them? They're both the fucking Joker. They're both the Joker. And you can absolutely compare them. If we can compare all the other Jokers who are completely different than each other, if we can compare all those, we sure as fucking compare this. Just saying. I don't believe in that fucking cop-out shit. That's all cop-out shit. Alfred was a dick. Yeah, Alfred normally is a dick. Alfred normally is a dick. That doesn't even make sense. Alfred normally is a dick. Yeah, that sounds better. What's up, Christopher, man? Welcome, buddy. I almost got off. I was about getting ready to get off here soon. I've been streaming for an hour. Home from work late. I got you, buddy. Who was Jared Leto? Jared Leto was, that Joker wannabe, the fanboy. You remember that? Robert, did you ban Thor and from the channel? No, I didn't ban anybody. I just put a couple people in timeout. Thor's timeout was up. The other guy must have just left outright. Mr. 24 Freak said, well, I like the Suicide Squad version of the Joker. Dude, you got some balls saying that. I never heard anybody say that. That motherfucker was doing a Richard Nixon impression. The motherfucker was like, oh, Harley, honka, honka, vote for me. I think Alfred has to put up with a lot. Usually the end of the movie is always the best part of the movie, Keith. It's called build up, my friend. Thank you, Holly. Jared Leto was garbage, man. He was absolutely just awful, man. Oh, honka honka. Oh, the infamous Harley Quinn. The fire in my loins. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? The fire in your loins? What the fuck are you even talking about? Oh, God. Jared Leto's Joker was so often. Like, I'm damaged. You know how I know? I got it on my forehead. It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Phoenix deserved for the first laugh scene alone. I kind of agree with you on that, Omar. For real, I kind of agree with you, dude. Like the way he was laughing and can just turn that bitch off. Like, oh my god, dude. I wouldn't say Jared Leto was the worst. You said loins. He did. That's what he said. She's the fire in my loins. Oh, God, that movie, man. I actually like that movie. It's a guilty pleasure, but the fucking Joker in that movie just kills me. I remember when the trailers were coming out, everybody was trying to justify, but he looks just like the Joker from The Dark Knight Returns. It's like, I don't care. No, he doesn't. Stop. Shut up. He doesn't. So is it safe to say Joaquin, Nicholson, Heath are the top three? Well, there's only 5 to choose from. So, I mean, so it's not that hard. I mean, the only other people you could put in it is, Cesar Romero, who had a mustache, and Jared Leto, who I don't know who the fuck he was playing, but wasn't the Joker. And he's a method actor, man. He's a method actor, Took him months to get into that role. He what does he do? He's like, and he has a stupid thing. God, Jared Leto's Joker sucks so bad, man. I just want to pretend so much of that just did not happen, man. Did not happen. What was the part when he finally meets up with Harley Quinn at the end? Like, hey, baby, did you miss me? Well, I'll do anything for. He sounds like Richard Nixon, man. Oh my God, he does. I'm talking about movie Jokers. I don't talk about anybody else's Jokers, man. Hashtag damaged, LOL. Well, guys, I'm about to reach the hour mark. I'm going to go ahead and end this little live discussion. Not that I don't want to continue, but I got to get up super early in the morning. I got to get up. I got to take Autumn to work in the morning, so I got to get my beauty sleep, because look how fucking fucked up I look. I need my beauty sleep. Plus, I got to film like 2 videos as soon as I get up in the morning. I'm gonna film my spoiler review. I don't know. Oh, Christopher comes in with a super chat. Yo, you probably already answered this, but do you think they will continue these standalone characters if this movie does well at the box office? So I kind of covered it, but not to this detail. I will say this, Christopher. First of all, thank you, buddy, for that super chat. I appreciate it. Sadly, I think they will, and I don't want them to. I think the Joker works because the Joker is a great character piece. You could take the name Joker out of this movie, and it's just a great character piece about someone who suffers from mental illness, who gets picked on, bullied, and eventually enough is enough, and he can't take it no more. It just happens that it takes place in the DC world with a character named the Joker. You can't really say that about other characters. I seen people in the chat saying, oh, Lex Luthor, oh, Bane, oh, Riddler. I don't want to see this type of movie for all those people. I don't want to see fucking Lex Luthor, who's like a Donald Trump guy who ends up like becoming this, genius businessman. I don't want to see that. There's nothing interesting about that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But as of right now, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to see a Riddler movie, because then everybody's going to, I don't know about you guys, but I'll be like, man, dude, it's like they're trying to make a gritty Riddler movie because the Joker was successful. That was my thing about Sony, right? It's like, Venom was successful. It was an awful movie, and now they're doing more awful movies, It's like the Joker is good because it's an art film. It's an indie art film directed by a good director and a fantastic actor, and it stands on its own. We don't need to get more. We don't need... Now, if they ever do, I wouldn't mind seeing them take another crack at Catwoman. Maybe doing Catwoman right. But even, maybe having this, this is how I would pitch Catwoman if I was in Hollywood, right? And I'm like, okay, Joker is successful, made like $80 million opening weekend. We make 4 times our money back by the end of the box office run. What are we going to do? And, no, not Mr. Freeze. I did a whole joke how that would be stupid. But, Catwoman, if they came up to me, if Walter Hamada or David P. Dumbass was like, what do you got? Give us another one. I would be like, Catwoman. This is how I would pitch it. Catwoman is a cat burglar. I would have her maybe in the same universe, maybe in even the same time period as Joker, where she's in Gotham. We see what Gotham is like in the Joker film, how, the people in power are corrupt, Thomas Wayne calling everybody clowns and stuff, and the town is just bad. And then you'll have like a Selena Kyle, maybe in her like 18 to 20 range, and she's living on the street. She's trying to survive. Don't give her no superpowers or anything like that shit, and how does she survive? She becomes a cat burglar, and then you can introduce like a Jim Gordon in there trying to stop her. But what's the end game of that movie, though? That's the problem. What's the end game of that movie? That Catwoman also gets arrested? What's the end game of that? It ain't like the Joker where you're watching this guy who's suffering from mental illness until the point to where he finally snaps and then he becomes the Joker and he inspires people to follow him. Catwoman doesn't have people that follows her, that inspire. Like, people aren't gonna be like, that blonde chick who's been like robbing everybody and no one can seem to catch her. She inspires me to start robbing people. So what's the end game? I do think a Selena Kyle movie could work. A Penguin movie might work, but I don't. Again, what's the Penguin's end game? What's Mr. Freeze's end game? Mr. Freeze, in theory, could work. Deathstroke could work a lot. Deathstroke could work really, really good. But what's the end game? The end game of Joker was seeing him become the Joker. Deathstroke, what would it be about? Someone from the military who suffers from PTSD, who ends up being a bounty hunter doing contracts, and he goes around and he becomes like this mass bounty hunter assassin. Okay, that's fine. What's the end game? That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the climax? What makes this movie over? But I think Selena Kyle and Deathstroke are probably the strongest possibilities of something you could do that over. Because, I'm leaning more on Deathstroke now that you mentioned it, Mr. Kiki. I think you're right on the money with this. What makes Joker, what makes Joker such a great movie? Other than the performances of, it's the message behind it. It's the message of people with mental illness. People aren't taken seriously. What's the number like? There have been so many movies. Punisher kind of taught on this. There was a movie with Miles Teller that came out a couple years ago dealing with soldiers with PTSD. I think if you do a movie with Deathstroke and really show how the war fucked him up, and he suffers from PTSD, and the government just does not care. Much like the government does not care about mental illness, the government does not care about soldiers with PTSD. They throw them on the street. They don't give them no health benefits, nothing. They don't care about anybody. He suffers from PTSD, so what does he have to do to survive? He becomes an assassin. He starts eliminating people to make money. I think that would work out a hell of a lot. I think you can kind of do an artsy post-war PTSD art film with Deathstroke, with Slade Wilson, and I think it would work out really, really well. And then how the movie ends is just him being arrested, much like with the Joker. I think that would work, dude. I think you're right on the money, dude. You need to go to WB and pitch that shit for him. I was thinking Catwoman because I think Catwoman is something that can take place realistically. But yeah, definitely Deathstroke, I think, would be really, really good, in my opinion. But anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to get going now. We've been streaming for over an hour. It's midnight, or getting ready to be midnight in a few minutes. Thank you guys for coming out, checking out the live stream. I appreciate everybody who gave Super Chat. I love each and every one of you guys. I got to get up super early tomorrow to bring on the work, and I have to film a few reviews. I got to touch on Martin Scorsese, the stupid things he said about the MCU. I got to talk about Joker. Spoiler video. I don't know. I might do a spoiler review. I might not. I don't know. People can kind of watch this for spoilers. And then I want to do a Heath Ledger versus Joaquin Phoenix Joker. And I also got to do my review on Titans, which means I have to watch it. I still haven't watched it yet. So a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, I need to go get my shut eye. That's for sure. Especially since I didn't really get all that much sleep last night anyway. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for coming out. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. I love all of you. And until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion. Good night, everybody.